Hello, this is the intro. This channel will be focused on level 2. It will be explaining chart patterns to some degree, but if you do not need that, you can always skip to the point where I am watching the level 2. I do copy my trading style off of Warrior Trading. It works. So, okay, hello. This is a dip off the VWAP, and it was on a stock that made a pretty impressive move today. I traded it fairly well. I was not as aggressive as I could be, but I locked up some nice profit. So if I pause, let's go back 10 seconds. If I pause right here, this is how I pulled up the chart. I was a little late, but this is how I pulled up the chart. If we zoom in on this 5-minute chart and I go to draw, this is what you guys should be imagining. If we can get this candle, if we look at this 1-minute chart, I think that I guess I should preface this with what's the time on it. This is basically 2 minutes into this 5-minute candle. So I'm thinking that I want this 5-minute candle to close kind of like this. I want this 5-minute pullback candle, a little bit of a doji, bigger wick to the downside. I want something that looks like it's going to accelerate and base out around here, and then take off from there. So I want something like this. So when I pulled up this chart, this is what I'm hoping for to see. Given the fact that we're 2 minutes into this candle, it's a little bit too early for me to click buy here at 382, even though the setup on the 5-minute chart is correct. So the way to do that is just to wait and look for the next pullback around this VWAP area. Given the fact that we just failed to hold over $4, we pulled back to VWAP. We attempted to retest 4 and we couldn't even retest 4. Overall, this is kind of looking weak. So my inclination is that instead of just buying off VWAP, we may be looking for it to dip under VWAP a little bit and then try to catch that bottoming tail and that push higher for that new 5-minute candle. So let's skip ahead a little bit. We're now halfway through or 2.5 minutes into this candle, or 5-minute candle. Pulling back, I'm still thinking it's too early. Let's pause really quick. We still have 2 minutes left on this 5-minute candle. And if you guys can see this pattern, we kind of have like the sloping resistance that we assume because this 5-minute candle is not ready, it's going to be pretty effective and it's going to push us down towards VWAP. So before my inclination was that we might get that dip under VWAP. Now the way this is setting up, if you guys, let me draw again. If we have this candle, it comes down, actually I can do this. If it starts here, it's going to end with this wick just under VWAP, and then hopefully it goes green and we get a retest of the highs. And that's the idea, is to get this bottoming tail candle and a push through $4. And that coincides, so let's say we take this trade towards the end of this 1-minute candle and it takes the next 1 minute to start working slowly upwards, then by the time that next 1-minute candle is finished, our 5-minute setup is looking like we're going to get that first 5-minute candle to make a new high. So that's the idea behind this type of trade. Let's go back to play. So here we go. It touches VWAP there at 366. And now we're hitting a new low at 65, but bid popped up pretty quickly. That looks pretty strong. But that would be the first bottom. We pulled back to 66, 65, and we're pulling back up to 370. Now we're going to look for that second attempt at the low. Here's 65 again. 64. But you notice how it's slowing down towards this 65 area? So let's see if we can get some bid strength here. And notice how as soon as that slowed down and hit 64, bid strength showed up at 65. And red showed up, but the bid strength was still there. I'm clicking buy at 66 because it feels like this is holding and we're getting a bit of a double bottom. So let's play it back and let's show you guys how it looks. So down to 65, 66, 64, finally pull up to 70, 74. Now watch it pull back and get this double bottom. 64 and in. Here's 69 and immediately up 8 cents. And now that we have a good entry here off the VWAP, we're looking for this candle to, like I said, go green with a bottoming tail towards 4. It doesn't have to go green, but we do want that bottoming tail. And then the next 1 minute candle could be the candle that starts slowly grinding it higher towards the $4 range. Now what we see is that eventually when you start testing towards the highs, and it's going to be hard to tell you guys the moment. I might have to just slowly play it through and explain to you guys why I scale out early here. Because right now I want it to pull back, catch bid support. Here you go. So it's going to catch bid support here at 75, 77, but it just wasn't going up. We got, okay, here we go. This is what happened. So we're on the way up. Sorry, I had to, it's awkward when you're not in the trade and you're trying to remember how you felt in that moment. But if we saw, let's actually, I can probably piece it together now. So we're going to come up to 380. And this is where we're going to meet our first wall. So we've kind of slowed down pretty dramatically, and you want this move to kind of resolve pretty quickly. I wanted this candle to go green, but that didn't happen, and now I kind of want this 1 minute candle to reclaim it and start working towards the highs here and at least be over this 380 level. I want this 5 minute candle to go green, basically. And it's not happening that quickly, and I'm starting to see this sell wall appear. Green shows up on the tape, but it's not breaking that level. And then I see a bid pop up here at 377 and I dump it. So that was a 50-second long trade. That's not actually too bad. I'll play it one more time all the way back through. That's the end of this video. There will be another video, but I want you guys to see how it all looks. So you can watch this part. It's just going to be the level 2. Let's see if I can accurately represent the idea that I was trying to a second ago. So these moves, you kind of want to see good resolution. You want to see fast movement. So here we go. We finally get that green volume. We're getting that nice bottoming tail, creeping towards 77. And we see some sell stack there at 80. So we got a high there at 77, and now we're retesting the high. We're getting green on the tape, but immediately seeing red as we approach that 77 level again. And then if you pause right here, not only did a new seller just come down, but we got this sell stack here at 80 and a seller here at 78. I'm not too worried about this seller here. We get green on the tape again, clears that 77 offer, but we're still stuck here and we're going to start grinding and it's not going to do anything. And I felt like we're getting a bit of a double top a little bit too early. And I didn't want to be holding in case it rejected this entire level and fell through VWAP. Because right now we're trying to take a bounce off VWAP so we can retest the high. So if it fails here and it slows down and shows weakness, it could just fall through VWAP and sell off. So once I saw the 77 bid pop up, and a second ago I saw green on the tape, and this seller stack wasn't moving, I didn't feel like volume was coming in that well, I was dumping it on this bid here. And let's find out if that was the right answer. looking pretty good so far. So on the 5-minute chart, you could say, all right, so what would your next entry be? It would be another entry towards the low here. Now we just dipped, and we're going to test the high here and fail towards 70 and 80 again. But on this 5-minute chart, you would want it to stay above VWAP now. It's tested too many times. We want it to just clearly hold above it. We want it to bull flag. We don't want it to break the low of this wick. So if it does break the low of the wick, your next thought would be maybe you could buy the dip off 350, and that's under the VWAP, and Ross recommends against buying dips under the VWAP. So I was more inclined to not take any more trades because I've seen this type of setup in this bearish market fail, where it's kind of rejecting the highs and then it has to kind of reset for a while. So my exit at 377 was basically pinpoint perfect. We only had one other chance to sell towards that level. So